What is going on, Battlefielders? Wally here with another commentary, and in this video I'm doing a bit of a request. I'm trying to figure out new ways to get active again on my YouTube channel, aside from just shoutcasts and the occasional recap of tournaments and stuff like that. So what I am going to do is I'm going to use it basically through my Twitter, and then every probably like Thursday or Friday I'm going to tweet out like, alright, I'm asking today, what do you guys want to see? What do you guys want to talk about? What do you guys want to hear me discuss if you care about my opinions? And I'm not trying to be like, I don't know, it comes out kind of cocky, but I do want to get more interactive with my Twitter, and I want to engage that base, and I want to engage you guys, and of course give you guys something at least once a week that is regular scheduled content. So today's week, this one comes from Fatal Plays for TB, is he asked me to talk about some of the teams that currently play Battlefield. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest when I talk about some of these teams. I'm not going to mention every single team out there, so if I don't mention your team, maybe take that as a blessing and not so much as a curse. But again, it's just an opinion here. These are all opinion pieces. But I'm going to start with TB first because Fatal did request this. Now, I played for TB sort of back in the day of BC2. I played for like TB DC5 when they were playing together in BC2. And then I was kind of like, when they were going to go play for BF3, I was sitting on the fence with whether you're going to play for DC5 or going to play for TB. Now, the reason I picked TB, and I'm going to be really honest, is because TB said they'll just have me play for them, whereas DC5 said they'll try me out. And me, back in that day, I mean, I'm not much different now, but I'm a little bit chilled out, but I was very cocky about it. I was like, make me wait, play for your team? Like, who do they think they are, basically? So basically I just picked TB, and it wasn't a bad choice. It was definitely a good choice. I mean, I don't think that choice really would have mattered. I mean, I ended up playing for Iconic anyway back in BF3, but still had a great time playing for TB. They're a good team. They're one of the teams out there though that I think could utilize their namesake a little bit more than any other team currently in the field. The only other team out there that has the same kind of reputation and story that they do is Iconic, and they've already secured themselves quite a sponsor. TB is the team that I'd like to see them secure a sponsor. I'd like to see them get a little bit more aggressive in terms of social media, in terms of branding, in terms of getting their name out there like some of the newer teams have actually done. I'd like to see TB do it. And I've had the conversation with Fatal too, and he's basically said if any team can do it, it is their team, and I definitely agree. So that's my opinion on TB. My opinion, the next team, Iconic AOX, is they're a great team. Run by Channy. Now, I don't agree with everything that they've done. I don't agree with a lot of the things that has happened in the past. Myself, I came from that team before they became Xfinity and Art of Execution. Now, I may have had a hand in helping them secure their sponsorship, but mainly it goes to Channy and Rame and Payne and those guys for getting it done. I just put two and two together and helped facilitate the ends right there. I did come off as a brief stint for their manager for about 48 hours, and then they just didn't like that because for whatever reason they feel that I betrayed them. Now, that's all in the past, and it doesn't really matter. Personally, I don't agree with what they have done, and I feel like they've wasted a whole bunch of time and effort. They're another one of the teams like TB where they could be expanding their brand into being a household name, but instead they don't do it. And to me, that's a huge waste of time, and it's up to them, obviously. Like, I'm not going to tell them what to do anymore. I mean, I never really did in the first place, but again, I think that a lot of people lack ambition, and that's one of the teams that unfortunately does. Next team, talking about the A-Team. Now, A-Team's a new team coming into the Battlefield scene. Of course, they did play BF3 back in the day of BF3 days, but they played mainly hardcore, so I never got the opportunity to play against them. I did see the Squirrel back in the day play for him, and back then the Squirrel had a bit of a cult following, if you will. There were people that came to me and they're like, "Oh, you've never heard of the Squirrel? Like who the fuck are you?" basically. And I'm like, no offense, bud, but I played for the best Conquest team, like the best BF3 team ever, and this is like after Epsilon left, so if anyone gets in here and starts bitching about that, like, chill out. But and I don't know, back then, like I said, I was much more prideful. I was kind of an arrogant prick. I'm pretty sure I still am to a lot of people, but back then I was like, I mean, who I don't care who this guy is. But it turns out that, Squirrel and the A-Team, they've made huge strides here in the past time, their past tense. I mean, there's been 2 major tournaments in BF3, barring a few of the other stuff that I don't know about. Of course, there's other stuff going on in Europe, but the A-Team has won 2 tournaments, and that's fantastic, man. I mean, they place second, but still, like, that's basically winning at that point. I mean, they walked away with dog tags, I think, in the first tournament, which isn't great, but it's still better than nothing. And then the second tournament, they walked away with 5 Elgatos, and that's impressive. And winning tournaments like this, especially under the Level BF name or any name, really is definitely something you can put down on your resume when you're trying to secure sponsors. Not to mention they're very aggressive when it comes to streaming, and I see them picking up a lot of streamers for their little A-team stream team, and I think that's fantastic. Now, personally, again, I've talked to Squirrel and Talk about this. I don't agree with the A-team stream team and how it's run. I think that personally, I think they should schedule themselves out a little bit more instead of overlapping. But again, it's just my opinion. I like the fact that they are active. I don't like the fact that a lot of people are selling out and joining the bandwagon, if you will. But a lot of people are free to do what they want. People want viewers when they stream. Personally, I don't care. I never even have my viewership thing open. I just have pop out chat. And like I said, I mean, it's not for me. But I do have to respect what they're doing. And in terms of a business sense, it is very, very, very crucial, very, very important in what they're doing, and I have a lot of respect for them. Don't agree with everything that they've done in the past. I don't agree with some things on that team, but again, they are very successful. They placed second in 2 tournaments, and for a lot of good reasons, they have kind of showed people that they're not really an underdog anymore. People may think they're not good, but if they weren't good, they wouldn't be placing second. They had some tough teams to play in the last tournament. They had some tough teams to play in the first tournament. They had arguably the best French team to play, Pyro, in the first tournament. And I don't have the bracket in front of me, but I know they played some tough teams in the second tournament. And unfortunately, they had to meet Iconic again. And unfortunately, they lost, but they still walked away with something. So good on them. Now, One Nation, another team I want to talk about a little bit. Don't really have too much information. I mean, I have personally nothing wrong with them, but after a few of their guys had trolled me and basically set a bad taste in my mouth for their entire team. Now, potentially and more harshly so, I think I was a little bit too negative on them. I think they have a great reach in the Central American community and the South American community, and they're going to be a real force to contend with, hopefully, here in the future. I would have liked to see them play in the 5v5 event, but unfortunately, they decided not to for whatever reason, which is, completely in their power, and it's up to them. I know that they will most likely be playing in the upcoming Conquest event. Hopefully, I'll have the opportunity to cast that and probably, hopefully, throw Level BF's shoes in that one as well. I know TB and TE5 are putting something together in lines at that, so it should be very interesting to see them play. I know they have quite a big grasp in that community, and I'd like to see them expand it further. Talking about LC Pyro. Now, this is a French team. Not too many people probably don't care, but I mean, they're already incredibly successful, and I think they've expanded their name incredibly well. They're a PC team and an Xbox team, and to boot, they're one of the best teams in both systems. So they are definitely a force to contend with. Being the best American team really does not make you the best team in the world anymore. You can be the second, third best American team, but if you don't go overseas and play some of the French teams or play some of the Euros, you can't really say that you're the best team. The scene has changed so much in the past year now that it really is no longer a North American or European scene, at least on the consoles. But here on the consoles now, it's a world scene. You have to play everybody from the world. I'd like to see the Australian teams come in and play, but hopefully we'll see them in the future. Finishing up, I got 2 more teams to talk about. Exploit Esports. Now, Exploit, again, has been around for quite a bit of time, and back in the day, I didn't really agree with their leadership. Now, apparently they're under new leadership now, and their 5v5 team is quite good. I would say they're top 5 easily. I mean, that doesn't mean much now, but they did place very well in the tournament. They had some tough teams to play. They had, I would say, the hardest bracket out of anybody. Them, Illmatic, and a few of the French teams literally had one of the hardest brackets to play in. And unfortunately, since we don't have a seeding system, we just couldn't do anything about it. So good on them. I think they played incredibly well, and I'm very proud to say that I know some of those guys on that team. Talking about TE5. TE5's a very large team. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't like the fact that TE5 only plays 32v32s. Now, of course, this could change in the future, and I hope it does. I really do. But I honestly think that limiting yourself to a certain game mode or a game type is foolish. Simply because when the real goal of any team is to win games, of course, but you have to be more ambitious than that now. If you want to be a sustainable team and a sustainable brand within the market space, you have to really reach out and be like, look, we play this, we play this, we play this, we play this. Teamwork Defined is a great example of that. You know, they're mainly a larger community team, but they came in and played 5v5s. You know, they put in three teams in the tournament. And they did an incredibly good job overall. So in my opinion, I think TE5 needs to kind of step up to the plate and kind of acquiesce to the climate here, the environment a little bit better, and get out of their niche, if you will. I still respect a lot of the things they do on that team, and I think that their help towards us has been very crucial and very well accepted. Barring a few, they have a few weird individuals on that team that I'm not obviously going to put on blast, but still, a great team. Good name. I hope they take it in the future. Last team I want to talk about, and this video is a little bit longer, and I apologize for that, but whatever, is Team Sinister. Now, I've had a lot of conversation with Priest and Ink on that team, and they seem to know what they're doing. They have a COD team secured, and the COD team is very good from what I understand. And, of course, their Battlefield team is not necessarily bad. I mean, they're not. They just haven't defined themselves yet. They're focusing on trying to build a team, and I tell teams this all the time. That it takes months and months and months and months, even years, to build a solid team. Iconic is the same way. Iconic, when they first came into the scene, back in the days of BF3, they were a PS3 team and they sucked. I'm sorry, but they were not good. They were not good at all. And then they picked up some of the Xbox guys and kind of mixed up their rosters a little bit. They picked up some of the War Machine guys, and then they got good a little bit. They still never were that good, but they definitely got pretty good. And then finally, coming into BF3 under a little bit of a management change and a bit of changing hands between certain players and certain leaders on that team, they became like one of the best teams of all time. Now, I think that Sinister, and I think any team really is capable of doing this, but Sinister is yet to meet their stride. They're hitting the branding, the marketing, and the sponsorship side of a team incredibly well, but they're not hitting that other side yet, where they're, where teams are like, oh, we don't really want to play Sinister because they'll rape us. So, that's not a dig on them, but I guess it is kind of. But I think that they have a lot of potential, and I'm really excited to see how they play it. So that's been my opinions on certain teams. Like I said, I'll try to have a video out like this every Thursday, Friday, where you guys just give me your request on Twitter. I'll basically tweet it out, and the first response I get will be like, yo, Wally, let's talk about your views on climate change, and I'll give you a rundown of my AP environmental science class I took in high school that I got a C in the class, but I passed the AP exam. So fuck you, professor. But seriously, no, I mean, if you guys want to hear it, I'd like to include you guys in the conversation as much as possible. I'd like to know what you guys think. Some teams, I want to hear your guys' opinions, because this is our community, it's your scene, and I'm just here as more or less just an overseer. I just watch everything happen. I don't really take a part in it anymore, and I am interested in your guys' opinions, and I respect your guys' opinions a lot. So let me know what you guys think of this video. Hopefully we'll see a lot more of these. I definitely want to keep a consistent schedule up, and I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and yeah, I love you all. Peace.